2.
Warning! Stuff happened.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the ASOTV podcast for this week, and it happens to be Supernatural Season 13, Episode 8, The Scorpion and the Frog. Now, if any of you know the reference that they're going for in this particular episode, maybe it's just a random title or whatever, but yeah, I didn't connect any dots or anything, so if you did, please enlighten us. With me tonight are... Yeah, I'm Nikki, and with me tonight is Dom and Kim.
Hello.
What did you guys think about this episode?
I was trying to figure out whether it was gonna be, there was a monster of the week kind of thing, or it was kind of a little bit of content for like the actual overarching story. A little bit, not much. Though I like the characters that we were introduced to.
See, I think the misconception of this episode is it was a monster of the week. It's not. It's main story because
it is main story.
The whole point of this episode was they were trying to get a piece of paper to get the Nephilim like thing. So like that's all main plot. They just didn't walk away with it. If they did walk away with it and they had a way to contact Jack, you would have been like, oh no, that's a main plot episode. But it's because it burned in the episode ultimately amounted to nothing that you dismiss it. But you know, that's not the case. It's definitely a main plot episode.
Speaking about this piece of paper, the episode starts off in Cambridge, England. So we know where, the men of letters are pretty prominent right now, and that's in the UK.
Australia.
What?
No, it's England. It's the UK. It's not that. Anyways, there's a lady, and she's breaking into a museum to steal this. I thought she was going for the scrolls, but she found just 2 separate little pieces of paper, and she gets caught by security, who then, just stands there, and she just puff of smoke comes out her mouth. Yeah, then just goes into the security guard, and she passes out, and he takes a shit and walks out the building. She was a demon.
Well, I was under the impression that this is the same demon that we met this episode. This is not snatch and grab.
No.
I thought he was just body jumping.
No. Remember, he kills
Barthymus actually kills the demon that stole the paper for him.
Oh, okay. I just thought they got away, like poofed out.
Nope. He killed them good. And that's when we find out that Barthymus has Dean on speed dial. See, I know this actor from Bones, and to see his face, I was so happy. I was like, yes, I hope he stays on the show. Oh my god, this is great.
Like this is gonna be our replacement for Crowley because he's a Crossroad Demon.
At first, he had a lot of the same mannerisms and phrasing as Crowley, so I thought he was Crowley. I was like going the whole episode going, yes, he's just taking on a new identity. Yes, it's Crowley. I was so happy because I like the actor. Would have been a perfect replacement for a person to play Crowley. He could have done it easily. Yeah. And so I was so happy. I was just so happy to see his face. I was happy to he found out that he was the Crossroads Demon after Crowley ascended to, the devil, the ruler of hell. So I was just like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. I'm glad they're doing this. But we find out later that that's not the case. But anyways, Barthymus calls up Dean. They meet him. Barthymus explains to him it's a Nephilim tracking spell. He's only going to give them half of the spell now and the other half later when they do him a favor. But first, Sam obviously has to do his research, find out if the spell is legit. It is. It's Canaanite, which is history lesson, King Solomon days, and he was using it to keep tabs on his lady lover or his fling or his crush or whatever you want to call it. I don't think he actually had her, but the Queen of Sheba, who was also a Nephilim.
That's really weird.
It's like, okay, this is information I wasn't expecting, but it's kind of interesting. And then, Sam and Dean are like, fine, whatever, we're gonna do it because we need to find Jack. So they meet Barthamus again in some crazy, one of those dank and dingy warehouses, like per usual. And we meet Smash and Grab. I thought they were both demons.
No.
They are not. Smash is a human girl named Alice, and Grab is the demon. But he's like really tech savvy and spells and stuff. Mm-hmm. Like he knows his way around a spell. He knows how to disable them. He knows how to track them, find them, uncloak them, things like that.
Yeah.
You asked about 2 seconds.
Yeah, he did.
Did Grab give you an impression, like remind you of anybody, Nikki?
I know what he's from.
No, I know what he's from, but I mean, like, did he remind you of somebody else? Because he had a very distinct personality and almost like an appearance that reminded me of another character. I just want to see if I wasn't alone on that. B doesn't know this character. I know that much.
Hint? I might be able to,
Flash.
The Flash.
See, I know exactly who you're talking about.
Okay.
I might not watch the show, but I know who it is.
The skeevy stretch guy?
No, he reminded me of Wells. Just with the hat and everything, like,
the
like
get-up.
Just,
okay,
like I said, his appearance.
His appearance, right? Okay.
And some of his mannerisms reminded me a lot of that character, and the only other person I could think of playing Grab in this is that actor. Like, I think that
I see it now.
Yeah.
I totally the manner, even like the facial structure is kind of the same too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see it now. I didn't know what you were talking about. I was like, I'm confused.
I don't even watch the show. And I know what he was talking about.
But yeah, the favor is that they have to infiltrate Luther Shrike's house, who is a man who's been to hell and back, mm-hmm. and he has something of Barthamus's that he really, really wants back. So the catch is that the only way to get the thing, which is in a mahogany trunk, is to get into this vault / safe thing that can only be entered by a person who's been to hell and back.
Mm-hmm.
Who is that?
Both of the Winchesters.
Yeah, I'm like,
that's why I was really confused, because we know Sam's been to hell too. So it's like, why are they focusing on Dean for this? I mean, Sam, he wouldn't have like been skeevy trying to like put his hand in the thing. I think Sam would have just been like.
They think of Dean more because I guess like he spent longer and he was tortured and he came back tortured.
Mm-hmm.
So and then he became a demon at one point. So I think that's why they focus more on him as the whole.
I guess. Well, Sam came back pretty shittily too. I mean, he came back without a soul.
A soul, yeah.
So his soul got tortured for a very long
remember,
time.
Dean tortured others.
That's true. He did.
Apparently, the actor who played Grab, Smash.
It would be Grab, yeah.
Grab.
Smash is Alice.
Matthew Kevin Anderson. Apparently, he was on an episode of The Flash, which is even funnier. He played a meta that decomposed rapidly. The episode was called Untouchable. I think it was.
Oh, he decomposed things that touched him.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So he's like anti-Midas. Gotcha. I remember that episode actually.
Yeah.
But yeah,
so I was just like seeing what else he was in, if I recognized him from anywhere else. But no, he reminded me a lot of that. I think he was on Being Human, but I didn't watch that season.
I didn't watch the American version of Being Human.
I watched the first season and a half at least.
He was also on iZombie. He was the exterminator.
I don't remember.
No, CW, I'm sorry, but I have to go back on Netflix and watch iZombie from the beginning, because a lot of it I do not remember.
Yeah.
Things have changed so much on that show.
When does that come back, anyway?
And the late winter, midwinter in February.
Yeah. Weird place to put that show, but okay.
But yeah, so... But Luther Shrike, he knows that they're coming for him. It's supposed to be some, sneaky thing that Barthimus has all planned, but he knows. He knows because Asmodeus and his goons know.
Mm-hmm.
But Luther's a feisty guy, and he's like, you know what? I don't need Asmodeus to tell me what to fucking do, because that's not my way of doing things. So he stabs his little demon friend that was giving him the info. He's like, I can take care of myself.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I was like, dude, you're just a human. Who gives a shit if you've been to hell and back? I mean, look at Dean, he's still fragile, even though he's all tough and shit. Well, we find out that as long as Luther is on this piece of land that he owns, he's immortal. He cannot fucking die.
I thought that was pretty awesome.
Who the hell, came up with that spell? How the hell did he get that spell cast? Like, I want to know these things.
It seemed like the deal he made with the Crossroad Demon.
But why would you make that kind of crossroad?
The Crossroad Demon, like, he did get taken to hell, but he renegotiated, and that was just to,
Right, he renegotiated his life, and that I was under the assumption that he renegotiated, so he's immortal on his property, and then his son died. That's what I was under the impression of.
Well, no, his son died before that all happened.
Yeah, that's because he made the deal to trade his life for his son's because his son was going to die, and then it saved his son. But his son ended up dying like 3 or 4 years later, and Barthimus was just like, accidents happen. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, he gets taken down to hell, and that's when the renegotiation came into play. And they weren't really...
Yeah, they just said it was a renegotiation, so I assumed that had everything to do with it.
They didn't go into deep detail about the renegotiation, but I guess you could be right. He said I don't know, because
he said that he had Barthimus's bones, so he was using it as leverage. Otherwise, he was going to burn them.
I want to know how the hell he
Yeah,
if he's just that he does stuff like that all the time. I guess that's how he got. It's like, how did you find his bones? Like, you must have really gone out of your way. Like, he had to. The moment all I can think is obviously you wouldn't think about that beforehand. I'm thinking the moment his son died, he just went out to find out how to.
He must have, because the Crossroads deal is usually 10 years, right? So, if his son died early, he had years to spare to go searching for Barthimus's bones.
Yeah, according to the Supernatural Wiki, which isn't 100% accurate, it's just whatever, it says, after being dragged to hell by hellhounds, Luther used Barthimus's bones to force Barthimus to resurrect him and grant Luther immortality within his property.
Gotcha. Okay, so, that's kind of the way I was thinking.
Chip.
Yeah. So I guess, that's how that works. I was actually a little bit confused because they didn't go into detail of how he was immortal on his land, and I knew that there was a renegotiation, but I just thought it was blackmail and being like, dude, I have your bones. I can get someone to burn them like lickety split. Mm-hmm. Let me out, kind of thing. That's how I thought. It's still blackmail, but it's done differently. So, they have the plan, and Sam goes in there first, and it's to basically talk to Luther and say, hey, I have an heirloom that you will like. And was he going to trade for something or just get money? I don't know. I feel like it was more like a money trade than like an item trade because, he's a collector. Why would he trade his collectibles? Especially if they're one of a kind.
That wasn't really established. What?
No. It was just Sam called him up and said, hey, I have something that you'd be interested in. And then he showed up and walked in the door.
It's something about email. So, how... I don't... Yeah, I don't know. How would he find you? For me, it just seemed like right from the beginning he'd know that something was up there. Yeah. It just was... obviously we weren't privy to the whole situation, so...
No.
One way or the other.
What I liked about this particular bit of the episode was that when Sam walked in, he walked straight into the Devil's Trap. Now, if Luther greeted him like any other person would, he would have saw that he walked into the Devil's Trap and walked right back out. Mm-hmm. So this whole after the whole exchange, and like, oh, he shows them the demon knife, the thing that they've had for like how many seasons now?
We haven't seen that in a while, though, have we?
We haven't seen the knife in a while.
But, they still use it, but they just don't like make it a thing.
Because we know at this point, we know.
Yeah, we know.
Didn't they get it? Or did they get it after the cult? It was after the cult.
It was after the cult, yeah. They got it from Ruby. I think it was Ruby.
It's the first time we've seen it this season, at least. I know that much.
Yeah. I like before Sam got out of the car, Dean told him to don't get dead. That's nice.
Mm-hmm.
But there was, while Sam is exchanging words with Luther, we have Smash and Dean breaking into the vault, and they're like setting up a summoning spell for Grab, and there's just like this nice little connection between the two of them. You could see they were kind of eyeing each other, but I don't know if it was like because they're, wanting each other, or just because, they seemingly have a lot in common. Like, Smash is drinking a drink, and he's like, is that nerve damage? He's like, man, I lived off that stuff when I was younger. And she's like, okay, it's eBay, dude. eBay. And then she takes one out of her bag all nice and chalant and just hands it to him. And he's like, you could just see he was like, oh, thank you, on the inside. Like, he was just like,
For some reason, that reminded me of like Surge. You remember Surge?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yep. That's something you can get off eBay.
They actually were selling it at Wawa.
They remade Surge. It came back.
Yeah.
It had a limited run.
Okay.
It was within the last year or two.
Gotcha. And okay, this was before they were in the vault, though. They were like just setting up in a barn or something. But then they get Grab in there, and Grab mutters off some spell, and Dean's talking shit, and they're like, yeah, your blood is like a compass for the vault. And he's like, get out of here. And then all of a sudden, he starts being one of those water finder things. I don't know, what do they call those?
A divining rod.
A divining rod? He was like a divining rod.
I don't know. They're like all...
With the flashlight just going all over the place. It was like...
Yeah, that was weird. Ridiculous.
I was like... Wow, I didn't expect some of the funnies that was happening in this episode. Like, that got me. I giggled when they actually get to the vault. Him trying to put his hand in that lion head. He was like, what if there's spiders? What if there's spiny blade things? What if there's snakes? Spiders.
And she's just looking at him funny, like, apparently you have a problem with spiders. Mm-hmm. But, no, the best part of this entire episode is when they had strapped him to the guy to the wheels, or the chair wheel, the wheels, and pushed him down.
Yeah, after they get the vault open and he comes in, Luther comes in, he offs Grab first off to get down into the vault, and Smash takes off. She's like, I'm outie. And then, Dean hits him in the head, says he has a glass jaw, knocks him out. Smash comes back, they tie him up to a chair, put him on a wheelie thing, and push him through this dart trap. And
that whole
since
room
he's immortal,
was Indiana Jones.
It was. They even said so. They said some cheap-ass Indiana Jones toy or something.
And it was like a combination, because the walls were from the first Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and the floor was like the final one, The Last Crusade. There's no Indiana Jones movie after that, as far as I'm concerned. So The Last Crusade, the final Indiana Jones movie, that when they have the word of God and they're jumping from stone to stone in the right order and all that, that's what that reminded me of. But
Snow Crystal Skull.
No, there's what I think they were trying to make that. It never got released or something. But they even filmed it in maybe 15 minutes from my house. It just doesn't exist anymore. But they didn't technically need that guy on there. They could have just pushed that cart down and it would have triggered them, and they would all fired, hit the wall and missed and fell over, whatever. But it's more fun to strap him to it.
Yeah, it was definitely more satisfying to see him, who is an immortal being, getting pushed through his own trap, getting darted. It was funny.
Hilarious.
Dean was very impressed with himself.
Mm-hmm.
So
I was impressed that they thought of let's just
maybe they needed to like have a certain amount of weight on the pads rather than like maybe the card itself wasn't enough. They needed an actual.
Yeah, maybe.
That dodge though, like Alice slightly dodged. She moved back a little bit, but then Dean grabbed her. It was crazy. That was a nice like. I actually kind of cringe when TV shows use slow motion, but that was a good one.
Yeah.
That was a nice little little blip.
The other thing I had noticed about that room is all the darts were at like waist and above level. There was nothing on the ground, so you could have like crawled underneath it.
Yeah, you could have
triggered everything.
Mm-hmm.
But it's whatever. It was just fun.
I mean, typically, if you're going to, break in and steal a chest of bones, would you care to test that shit out before you step on it?
Yeah.
I mean you would, but like any other person would be like, it's just a box of bones. It's not really protected.
They didn't know there was a box of bones in there.
They didn't, but other people might.
Doubt it.
Oh man, but like that was really interesting. Well, we find out that Alice actually made a deal with she's talking with Dean and saying she made a deal with Barthamus. We don't know what the deal is. I have a feeling we're not going to find out till later. I know I feel like she's coming back.
I hope.
Definitely.
I really hope.
Because
I really, really like her character.
We had a small conversation prior to this podcast that I got a huge Charlie vibe from her. And we know how many times Charlie came back. She came back multiple times. There was even a point where she was actually opening up the vault door with a stethoscope, and she said, "Sorry, Charlie, I can't," to Dean. So I was like, wow, are they really like foreshadowing to us that she is coming back and she's going to be like a new Charlie character kind of thing? Something that, because you did see because Charlie and Dean had a really good like brotherly sisterly bond. She really looked up to Dean. She loved the brothers because they were like family to her.
Right.
I got that same vibe from Alice and Dean. The only thing about this is I like Alice a hell of a lot better than I like Charlie.
I liked Alice. She was cool.
Yeah. I also mentioned that, it's not uncommon for them to bring in characters that kind of resemble literature. Like we got Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz. And we saw that Alice had lots of quirks. She was weird. She was just a little bit odd. So
I love the one when he called her Winona Ryder. She was very, very like her boots.
Her boots.
I was like, oh, look at that. I thought that same thing.
So my head went straight to Alice in Wonderland. I feel like she's had those kinds of adventures. Not like the book where it's like she's on a trip or whatever and she goes to Wonderland because she's on a high, she's on a high from drugs. No, I feel like I don't
remember that ever happening in the book.
That's the whole premise of the book.
It's implied.
It's implied. It's very heavily implied.
With opium and.
I don't remember her ever taking drugs in the book.
No, but that's.
They're not going. And the eat me and the drink me.
That's after she's in Wonderland.
Anyways. That's the kind of feel I got from her as well, that she has actually been on these types of weird adventures, and maybe she was just done with it, and that's why she made this deal with Barthamus, but she still has all these like modern abilities that help her in a way to get around. Like, she's tech savvy, like Charlie, but she's also got some old tricks up her sleeve. I feel like she's been around a lot longer than we think.
I think she was on an adventure and got herself in trouble and had to get away get out of it.
Yeah. I hope they're going in that direction. It's always interesting when they do things like that.
Oh my god!
When the writers do things like this and bring in literature and actually incorporate the characters into the show.
Sorry, audience. We're a bunch of kids.
We are giant children. We are. We're trying to be objective here, but it just doesn't happen.
Laugh at fart jokes. Fart noise.
No, I'm really interested in Alice, especially with the Wayward Sisters episode coming up very soon. And like I've been saying, like every new character like Alice and like some of the other female characters we've seen, I'm like, yes, they're gonna be on the Wayward Sisters. So I'm just kind of like, yes, crossover.
No indication of this.
No, but I can dream and hope and have faith.
Every female is gonna be in the show.
Yep, every female,
Everyone.
Even Mary. She's gonna make a crossover.
If Mary can get out of her weird place for still.
We'll get to that. So with Alice's side, they end up, getting the trunk and they get away because Luther gets away and he runs away. Like, it's weird. He unties himself somehow, and after they gotten the chest of bones that they don't know are bones, they drive away in the Impala, and Luther meets them off his property in a big red truck.
Was it off property? I
it
felt like it was
property.
at his front gate or something. Like,
no,
I don't remember them driving through their gate.
They did. They drove off the property and they were down the road, and Luther was waiting there for them. And he goes, you're working for the wrong team. Take a look in the box. You'll see why you're working for the wrong team. I need, please, guys, think about this logically. So they open up the box, and there's Barthimus's bones, and they're like, oh, shit. Like, we done bad. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Like, Dean's head is just going like, I knew I shouldn't have done this. Like, always fucking happens when we work with demons. Like, we always get boned. I did another stupid.
Well, Barthimus made a really good, bluff of, oh, if you guys want to help me, I'll get the current king of hell to do it,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he did. He did kind of threaten them a little bit with Asmodeus, and they don't want Asmodeus getting this paper. They don't want him getting his hands on this tracking spell, because we know how much Asmodeus wants Jack. And so yeah, they had to do it. But Barthimus shows up, cuts off Luther's head, so bye Luther. But then, Alice, it was a weird turn of events, because I don't really know. Like, he was like, okay, he hands her a wad of cash, and I was kind of under the assumption that after this deal, he was going to renegotiate her deal with her or let her go, but that wasn't the case.
That made it sound like a little bit.
Yeah, that's the way she made it sound.
I don't know. I didn't get that vibe from it.
I don't know. That's definitely what I assumed. Maybe just because I thought Barthimus. Because the actor who plays Barthimus was such a great guy on Bones, and I was like, you know what? I have faith in this guy. He's gonna be a good demon.
It's funny that you knew him from Bones, and now we're dealing with his bones.
That's true. I didn't make that connection, even though I've been throwing out these stupid fucking bullshit quirks every here now and then. Like, what? But she ends up, burning his bones and killing him. Because, she's like, you're an asshole. You screwed me over. Like, you promised these things and you give me a lot of money. So she kind of sneaks over and, Dean's like, my lighter's in the chest. Like, poking at it like, hey, look it. There's a lighter. Look at the lighter.
Hey,
she's
listen.
like, ah.
Hey, listen.
Hey, listen. He's like little Navi. And she ends up burning his bones, and Barthimus dies, and the paper goes with him. Burns to ashes. So they don't have that second piece they did all this work for, but as Dean said at the end of the episode, we saved someone, and that's all that matters.
Yeah.
So, they before that they send Alice off, and he goes, "Hey, Alice, stay weird." She gets on the peace sign. She gets on the bus, and that's our send off for Alice. So, I mean, it's not close. It's very open ended. That's why we're saying we hope she comes back. We hope she plays a bigger role, kind of like Charlie.
They typically do, because they'll take, even if it's seasons apart. Because what was it? It was season 7, where Sam got married to that girl Becky. In the episode the episode was actually called "It's Season 7, Time for a Wedding." I will never forget that. But the character Becky was a character that we had met one other time, 2 seasons prior to that.
There was a couple times we met Becky.
2 episodes prior to that. She was only in 2 episodes in it. They were both in season 5. And she was like the writer of the books or something like that. The Winchester novels.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, she continued writing them or something afterwards.
Oh, because she got together with Chuck, and they were together for a while.
Yeah.
It was after the Supernatural Con that they had.
Yeah.
In that one haunted hotel museum mansion. That was a while ago, guys and girls.
Yeah. But my point was, she was only, she's a very minor character, and then they bring her in 2 seasons later for like another minor appearance. They could do it. Who knows? Yeah.
Oh, they're definitely gonna do it. We're gonna see her again this season. I feel like that's gonna happen.
We'll see.
I mean, I would cheat a little bit and go like IMBD or something and see if she's slotted for any more episodes this season, but I'm not going to.
She's not a did it.
Yep. So, yep. They
You jerk and you're a villain.
Yeah, you're a jerk. We'll see her again.
We're not even gonna listen to you.
No. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this episode, unless you guys have anything to say.
Nothing else for this episode. All I know is I don't have to eat my hat.
Don't have to eat your hat.
No, remember last week we were talking about me eating my hat? Rowena is officially gonna be coming back this season.
This season, yeah. I think it's after the winter break.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, why would you want to eat your hat? You would probably die.
I didn't want to. That's how confident I was, though, that she was coming back. That was my point.
And that's why, because we talked about this last week, and we got confirmation after we had the discussion about Supernatural last week, when me and B were like, no, it would feel wrong, and like all this stuff, and
you're like, it wasn't gonna happen.
Yeah, we need Crowley. So knowing that information and having Barthamus on here, having the same mannerisms and phrasing when he talked and everything, and I was like, oh, he's Crowley in disguise. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. I'm so glad that they're bringing Rowena back, because we'll have a Crowley substitute. And
yeah, I mean,
God damn it,
I totally would have been on board with that theory had the episode not ending with him dying, because if you guys remember when we covered I don't think B was on the show, but when we covered Heroes Reborn, I had a running theory with one particular character that I was convinced was true, and whether or not they ever acknowledged it, which they didn't, but I would have loved for that to come out. Yeah. And it's
we
the
have
same way
so
here.
many crazy theories all the time, speculations, and we sometimes make them headcanon, which is not the right way to do it, but we do anyways because it's fun. But I mean, I would have loved to have. I want to know. I had his name in my head earlier today, but I can't remember the actor's name. But like, for Barthamus to be Crowley in disguise would have been absolutely fantastic, especially for me. So, because we all know how much I love Crowley.
He makes you puddle.
Not, he used to. But next episode is called The Bad Place. Jack, desperate to prove to Sam and Dean that he is good and that he can control his powers, enlists the help of a dream catcher called Kaya to help him find Mary Winchester and to save her from the alternate universe. Or get Mary back. However, when the plan goes awry, the Winchester brothers are the ones who need saving. Somehow, Jack puts them in the alternate universe instead of, I don't know, maybe there's a trade happening. Mary comes out, but they get sucked in. Who knows?
Oh, that makes more sense now. Okay, so I watched the preview and I was like, where are they going to Psycho? And I'm like, ew.
Orpheus was not on Bones.
The actor, yes, he was. Oh no, he wasn't. Maybe he was. Oh,
he was on X-Files.
No, he's on Medium, and I just finished watching that series. I'm sorry, I apologize.
Yeah,
that is
he was
on
Medium.
Yeah, he's on Medium.
Sorry, guys. I love that show.
I was just trying to look to see if I recognized him in anything. He was on this season of Once Upon a Time, or going to be on. He was on Arrow in 2014, and he's on 2 seasons of Bates Motel. But it's like
Okay.
I'm looking. I'm like, he's not on Bones.
I apologize, everybody. I got the crime shows mixed up. Oh my god,
Yeah.
There's so many of them.
I only ever watched
on
one
Medium.
of those. I watched Unforgettable. I really like that one.
I don't think Medium is a crime show. I guess I'm more focused on what she's doing.
Yeah, that she's a psychic, and but she's in the crime business, or the anti-crime business. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, we get Mary back next week, and it looks like we get Jack back as well. So hope we get Jack back. Hopefully we have to find out where the hell he was hiding, how the hell he was hiding, who he was hiding with, maybe. I don't know. So, but yeah, that's this episode. And so, Dom, where can the people find you?
Let me down below at Phenomenon, PHENOMEDOM.
Kim?
Twitter. I had a ring part with that. At HUFF5TY, PUFF5TY.
And
Brain
you can
fart
find.
noise.
Yeah.
Ew. Could you imagine if Brains actually farted? Ew. Anyways, you can find. Would it be a poof? I don't know. I heard brains are kind of jelly and slimy. I think there would be a sound.
Maybe a squishy. So maybe.
You can find me on Twitter, with my brain not farting, on Twitter at LadyVenom24, LADYVenom24. You can find all of us and more on Twitch and YouTube at ASOTV Podcast, also on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, MySpace, and you can find us in our Discord. That's hopefully listed down below. You just have to click and you should get an invite to join in on our discussions and our shenanigans. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. Oh my god. I'm getting grossed out.
Oh, really? That was that bad? Oh, we're a bunch of kids.